All right, welcome back to Recovery Real Talk. My name is Angelica Matias Rodriguez, and here I have. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Oh my
She's a
God.
little shy.
My name is Selena Rani.
Hello.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about your background.
Um,
Like, where did you grow up?
I was born and raised for the first part of my life in the Bay Area, San Jose. And then my adopted parents were older, so they were retired. So for the next couple of years, we traveled around the United States. And then from there, we moved to Humboldt County and pretty much, well, on and off again until I was like 20 something. And then here, the rest.
So, how were you adopted as a baby
I was
or?
adopted at 8 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In San Jose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you and your family end up in Humboldt County, of all places, coming from the Bay to such a small rural area?
Right. So, my adopted parents actually lived here when, like, growing up, but they were a lot older, like I said, so they moved around a lot. They moved down to the Bay Area, were there for years, and then here's where they wanted to come back to. So when we got done traveling, here's where we came back to.
Did you grow up in Eureka?
McKinleyville for the first part of it, Eureka for the second part of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where did you go to high school?
So when I was going to high school, I started Milpitas High, and then that was down south. And then Shirley High, McKinleyville High, I dropped out of, and then just dropped out altogether.
How old were you?
15, 16.
16.
Yeah.
Were you living at home when that happened with your
Yeah.
parents?
Yeah.
How did they feel about that?
They didn't like it at all. They didn't really approve. I was living mostly there. I was really just doing my own thing though. Like it didn't matter what they said. I was just going to do my own thing.
Were you doing your own thing in a sense of were you working or were you just like doing whatever it is you wanted to do?
Back then, the only job that I had, I think, literally only lasted a couple of days. I started getting into drugs when I was like 14, and so like it didn't last very long.
No,
Like
you're really
my
young.
life, like yeah, it was pretty. It started pretty early.
Did your adoptive parents have a history of
My adopted parents, no. My adopted parents were great. They try to do anything and everything for me. My adopted mom had me like in like figure skating when I was young, horse vaulting lessons, like swimming lessons, like a whole bunch of things that I that I loved. But once I had surgery when I was 6. I got my spleen ruptured.
Mhm.
So after my surgery, I didn't do anything. I didn't want to do anything.
How did that happen? Were you in like an accident?
No, so well, yeah, kind of. I was riding down a hill on a bicycle, and my brother pushed me, and the handlebars went through my stomach.
Oh wow.
So and it ruptured my spleen.
Oh.
Yeah.
So do you only have a brother or is there more
There's
siblings?
6 of us altogether. The real one, blood.
So biologically there's 6, but when you were
Yes.
adopted,
So my adopted parents have 4 kids.
okay.
Yeah.
Were you all adopted?
So no. So I don't know how to explain. So my birth mom there's 6 of us, and then my adopted mom, she had her own kids,
Mhm.
and she had 4 of them.
Okay.
So they were not adopted. But my adopted mother's real daughter adopted my real brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we stayed close. Me and my brother
Yeah.
stayed close. And then my last sister, my youngest sister, she stayed with my mom because my mom got clean and sober.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Are you in contact with your biological mom
I
and
am.
your adopted mom?
Yeah. No, my adopted mom passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. She passed away in 2017. She had Alzheimer's.
Oh.
But for the last years of her life, I wasn't around. I was too busy doing what I did.
Okay.
So
14 is very young, and I've actually heard a lot of recovering places that take children as young as 12.
yeah.
And sometimes there's kids that are even younger. So how did that, was it at school? Was it through a friend or?
So it started at school. And then I just started hanging out with people that were a lot older than I was, that didn't even go to school anymore. That's kind of mostly why I dropped out of school, because why go when I don't hang out with anybody at school? It's everywhere else that I hang out with them, so Yeah.
And how did it start? Were you like, did it start with you smoking marijuana and it just got worse and worse from there, like to the harder drugs? Or did it start with alcohol? I feel like everybody kind of starts drinking in their teenage years a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny. So, I think honestly, I think I did meth before I ever took, like, a drink. I didn't really like smoking weed, I didn't really like downers at that time, so
So you like
weed and things
uppers.
like that, yeah, yeah.
And did you only ever would you say that meth was your drug of choice, or did you have a drug that you preferred doing over meth at some point?
So for a lot of years, meth was my drug of choice, most definitely. Towards the end of my recovery, well, a little bit kind of in the middle, but then it stopped. But it started up again towards the end of my addiction was heroin. So yeah,
So you went from uppers to downers.
correct.
Okay.
And then I went from smoking to shooting, just a whole bunch of bad stuff.
Yeah. So when did you in that time when you were young, did you just think you were partying, having fun, or in that time when you were young, were you in the mindset of I think that I might have a problem? Like I think I might be
Definitely
addicted?
not. No, so the thing is I never really denied that I was an addict. I never said, "Oh, I don't have a problem," or "I can stop whenever I want," because I knew I couldn't stop, and I'm not gonna say I can when I can't. Although I didn't want to stop.
Mhm.
So, although I knew that this is not what I should be doing, or I had a problem or whatever, I was not ready to stop, nor did I have any interest in it.
Okay. So, did when did you decide that you wanted to get sober? What would you say what's your saving grace?
Like, the last thing that got me actually sober, or, like, do you want me to name, like, the times in my addiction that I wanted to get sober and then didn't, and then wanted
S-
to and didn't?
So, how many times would you attempted to get sober until you were actually sober?
Mm, I honestly don't know that. Because
Okay,
when I think about it,
that's
like,
okay.
when I think about it, I there was, like, for instance, like, when I got out of prison, I went to, program, a year program, and, like, I stayed sober, clean the whole time I was there, and I really, really wanted to continue to stay clean, but it just didn't work out that way. But I did the program through. It just was right after that.
Something that I've heard is that part of recovery is relapse. That relapse is part of recovery. Would you say that that's something you might agree with in your experience?
I do agree with that, but it's like I definitely agree with that, but it's kinda like a 50-50 thing. So some people say, "Yeah, I kept falling back, I kept falling back."
Right.
But what did you do about it though? Did you pick yourself back up and try again, or did you not? Because there's the excuse, "Yeah, I keep trying and trying and trying." You're not trying hard enough though, because once your mind really hits that point where you really wanna get clean, you get clean and you don't come back.
So in the times of where you were you tried to get sober and then you weren't sober and then you tried again, how long were those phases?
Mm. Like, how long would I go trying to be clean?
Like how long would it take from where you were clean and then you would relapse and then how long was the time frame between being sober and then trying again where you relapsed and you'd try again?
So there was only probably, like, a handful of times that I really ever tried to get clean, and it did not last very long. Other than that, I didn't try to get clean. I was too busy getting high. Like that I had, like, a one-track mind, and that was drugs, just drugs. Like, it was sad and it's sickening, but, like, it's what it was, and so, yeah, for a lot of years, I didn't wanna think about getting clean. I really didn't wanna get clean. Like, it sounded nice to do normal things, but and be normal, but really, like, I just wasn't ready.
I read I read something that said that when someone that goes from being an active addiction and going into a recovery facility that I think it said statistically that 94% actually end up relapsing right after.
Yeah. So that's it's funny you say that. So when I first got clean, I was in the Suboxone program,
Mhm.
um, and Dale Ward told me, and it's just stuck in my head ever since. He said, most people won't make it to 5 years. And I know that he did not tell me that to like try to put me down. And I know that he told me that like just because that's what it is. But that out of anything in my getting clean stage, that stuck in my head the most because at that moment I decided like, can't nobody tell me anything. Like I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So if it's clean that I want to be, it's clean that I'm going to be.
So would you say that that was what motivated you to stay
That,
sober?
that, I mean,
I know there's other things
there's
that
definitely
yeah,
other things,
but
but
something that you
that
told yourself in your head.
that definitely was something that definitely stuck in my head to remember. Everyday thing. You won't make it past 5 years, and I have made it past 5 years.
I know, that's awesome.
Yeah,
How
I
long
just
have
made
you
6
6?
on the 27th of February, 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's huge.
Thank
That's
you.
super huge. I
I
mean,
love it.
huge accomplishment. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I think I met you 3 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old were you when you got clean then?
So mm, oh geez. So I'm 41 right now. So that would make me
Oh my god, I went 41, 40, 19 in my head.
36? Was it 36?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god, I feel so dumb. I can't do math in my head for the life of me. I have to count with my
right.
I was like 1, 2.
So, yeah.
That still didn't help. I went 41, 40, 19.
41. Yeah, 30. I think it was 36, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We're going to go with 36 even if it wasn't.
how old were you when you had your daughter?
Which one? So I have an older daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I had my first daughter when I was 17.
Okay.
And then, so she's 22 now. And then, she would be 23. And then my younger daughter, who's 15, just turned 15. So I had her in 2010.
Nice. So I say that so much I would go, so sorry, get that out. I was starting to think out loud is what was happening. So how did you get to where you are today? This last time that you got sober, did you go through a facility or was it something that you did on your own terms?
Um, so if I ask you to cut something out,
Yes, I will
Okay.
cut it out. 100%.
and I get to see this before whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So to be completely honest, the reason I got clean was because I got punched in the side of my stomach right here, and I got my spleen ruptured again.
Oh.
I didn't know that's what was going on though. I was bleeding internally, and I was bleeding for a little over a month internally, like very slowly, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But I was so high on heroin that I didn't know like anything was going on. Like
Right.
I had no
Because you don't
idea.
feel pain
No,
when
you're just
people
like
do downers. That's why a lot of people that get addicted to heroin often starts with like painkillers.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they can't. Painkillers are expensive and they're
Yes.
hard to get.
Yes.
So people often resort to like heroin and
Now fentanyl. Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. But yeah, that's what got me clean. So I did that. That happened to me. And one morning I woke up and I was going to try to get high, and it didn't work because there was just pain everywhere. So I ended up going to the hospital. I died twice. I had 4 blood transfusions. And that's when I decided I was going to stay clean.
Okay. Do you want me to cut that out?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I'm not sure yet. I'll think about it.
It's totally up to you.
I'm gonna have to talk to Ish about it first, though.
Okay. Yeah.
But
do your
yeah,
thing.
but there's no shame in my game for that. Like that is what got me clean. Like that just made me open my eyes and realize, like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Like, that's crazy. You're so much better than this, you know? And yeah.
How did you meet Ish?
So so yeah, I'm not gonna say that. So okay, so him it was him and it was like a group of people. They came down from Tulare County. So
Where's
it's
that?
Tulare County.
Mhm.
It's by Fresno kind of, I think.
Oh, by
Like
Kings County. I think it's Kings County, right? Fresno-ish. It's not Kings County. I think it is.
I just don't know.
It's okay.
Okay.
I might be wrong.
No,
too,
you
so.
might be right though. I'm just not sure right this minute. But like it's okay, so oh yeah, it's down there. It's way down there.
Mhm. Like the
S-
valley.
Yes,
Pretty
very
much.
much. So there's a group of them that came up. So they were working at the bull farm,
Mhm.
but it was like a contractor job or something.
Did you say the bulb farm?
Yeah.
Like Sun Valley?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. But it's like a contractor job or something. So they come and work, whatever, go home, whatever. So we ended up meeting because he was here doing that. And then we just like, once we met, we just kind of like stuck together.
Oh.
Yeah. And that was that. Like so in the beginning, he wanted to get high and I had a pipe and he didn't. That's how he met.
It's true love. It's a true love story.
Right.
But then you guys got sober together, right?
Kind of together, yeah. So he actually got sober first. He got sober first, and then he ended up going to jail is what happened. So he ended up getting sober. He did drug court. He did drug court great. Like he did everything great.
What's drug court?
So drug court is something that it's you go to court like 3 times a week. You test like 3 times a week. You cannot violate at all. Like they're super fucking
So it's
strict.
like probation on steroids.
Yes. Yes. But if you want it to work, it's going to work for you. And he took that over going to prison. He could have gone to prison, but he was like, no, he wanted to stay closer to me. So, and then it really killed him because he got out and then he had to go to like a clean and sober home, because obviously he has nowhere to stay and he wasn't allowed to talk to me, nothing like that.
Was that because he was clean and
because he was clean and I was not clean. And it was just like, and at that time there was a lot of stuff that happened before when he first went to jail. Like I had stopped going to see him and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was just really like touch and go type thing. And then, I got clean right after that though. Yeah, he was in the clean and sober house already. So, yeah.
Did you join him in the clean and sober house after you got clean?
Not his clean and sober house. So I ended up going to a different clean and sober house. So I had a friend that ran a clean and sober house and she was like, just come here, just come here. Ish had already said that he would pay my way. So he did and I went and then a little while we ended up getting a job together at Pacific Seafood.
Oh.
He got me the job actually.
Nice.
And then I think a little while after that or in between there, somewhere around there, he moved in with me to the clean and sober house. And then we moved to a different clean and sober house that we started running. So.
Oh, you guys ran it together?
Yeah. In it to win it.
In it to win it, yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
So in a sober living house, are you allowed to have guests?
You're allowed to have guests. You're allowed to do anything you want, really. If you want somebody to stay the night, like that's kind of a whatever thing. Like it has to be a house agreement type thing on that.
Like everyone living in the house has to agree to it?
Like it has to be okay with everybody.
Oh, okay.
Because there's people's kids there and stuff. That didn't really usually ever happen though. Like the only people that really ever stayed the night was kids for kids. It was just like a program. Like I don't know. You could pretty much do your own thing. There wasn't like set drug tests or anything. If I did think you were high though, I was going to test you. And if you were high, you had to go.
So part of the terms in agreement are that you have to be sober. So if you think anyone's under the influence, you would have to test.
Yeah. And if they don't want to test, that's completely fine. They do not have to test. I can't make them test, but they do have to leave.
Okay.
So
it's not rehab. It's
if
you want to stay here, you have to be clean and sober, and you can stay here as long as you're clean and sober. But if you don't want to be clean and sober, that's
Yeah.
fine, but you can't stay here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And you have chores. If you're gonna live there, you have chores. You have, like, little bit of rent, everybody splits the rent up or whatever. But, yeah, it's just like a
So when you first moved into a sober living home, um, do you think it helped being around other people that were sober that kept you sober? Like,
yeah,
would you say that helped?
yeah. Yeah, it helped. It did help. What helped a lot is having Ish. Ish was like my literal rock.
So I'm sorry.
Um, the girls at the Clean and Sober House were great, though. Like, everybody was great. Everybody was great because everybody was doing the right thing or whatever, and they were trying, but, um, what helped me, I think, the most is just realizing, like, so watching the girls, the single moms doing it by themselves, that really put a new perspective on things because I have no idea where I would be right now if it wasn't for Ish. Like, Ish has been by my side through the whole thing, never gave up on me.
So would you say that Ish was your number one
Mhm.
supporter?
Yes.
Did you have other people that were helping as well? Did you have
Yes.
family?
Yes. Yes, my mom, my sister, my other mom, she's like my stepmom. Um, my daughter, my baby's dad, Nick. I have, like, a little circle, not a large one.
But it's all family.
Yes.
It's all close family. And
Yes.
that's awesome that even like your daughter's dad was supporting you
Yeah.
and his brother.
They're great. They are
I love
great.
them. I think
They
they're
really are.
great.
They are great.
Check out Two Tank. If
Right?
you don't know him.
That's right.
I'm still mad
That's
at you
right.
didn't invite me to his concert that one time. She invited my brother and my sister-in-law, but she didn't invite me. So when I found out
So, look,
that
he's
they
gonna have more
went,
shows, so
yeah,
I'll
I'm
invite you.
going.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going. You'll catch me
For
there.
sure.
When my brother and Maria told me that they saw him, I was like, "You guys got to see Two Tank," and they started laughing. They're like, "Yeah," and I was like, and that's when I texted you, and I was like, "I think it's fucked up. You
Right,
didn't
yeah.
invite me to go see Two Tank."
My bad, my bad.
I was being
Yeah,
sarcastic. And I was
yeah.
just being funny. But and then I felt bad because you were like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry," and I was like,
felt bad. I was like,
"I'm
"Oh,
just
no."
kidding," kind of.
Oh,
No, but
shit.
I definitely my brother bought merch.
Yeah,
Like
he did.
he showed me his hoodie and I was
Yeah.
like, "Hell yeah." I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay." But they're great.
Yeah,
I
they
really
are.
I don't know Mike, but I know Nick.
If you know Nick, you know
And
Mike.
they're identical
Yeah.
twins, man.
Yeah. They have
They're like
the same attitude, they have the same heart, they have the same everything.
yeah, they're
they're
great.
just amazing. They're amazing people.
They're very amazing.
Yeah.
I think well, I'm just gonna say there, even though I don't know Mike, because
Yeah.
I know Nick's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean if Nick's awesome, Mike's gotta be awesome.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
Um, in what ways have you grown as a person since you've been recovered? And I know like more in recovery.
How have I grown? Well, um, I got a job and kept a job for a
You
long
do a good
time.
job.
Thank you, for a long time.
It's hard. Your job is
Oh,
hard.
man. It is hard. It is hard, but it's not hard, and I do know that sometimes I get really overwhelmed, and I just, like, wanna pull out all my hair, but really, in all reality, like, all bullshit aside, like, even when I was using, like, if I my, like, "What do you wanna be when you grow up?" type shit, like, that's kinda what I wanted to do, take care of people or be around people, work with the people that couldn't take care of themselves or wasn't all there upstairs, like, being homeless, knowing a whole bunch of those kind of people, you know what I mean? Like, it's just yeah, it's my it's like we're my zen, I guess.
It's just something you truly enjoy doing.
Yes, I do.
Is
Very
there
much so.
anything that you want to do? Like, have you thought about being maybe a caseworker?
So, yeah, but then no, like, it's weird for me. I don't like doing the paperwork, that doesn't interest me in the least. Paperwork, things like that,
What about like outreach?
I've never thought about that.
I'm just curious
Yeah.
because I know that I don't know if I know that sometimes qualifications is life experience.
Yeah.
And you have, that life experience of being in active addiction and um, being in recovery now, you can help guide those individuals that are having a hard time finding their journey and finding the courage to get clean. And maybe they don't want to get clean. And that's
Right.
it. You can't do anything about that.
Right.
But the people that do want to get clean and they don't know where to start, I mean, talking to somebody that is literally going through or has been through what they've been through definitely helps, which is why that experience is a requirement for some jobs like that. Like, or even maybe, have you thought of being like a drug counselor or?
So that's hard. Like, I feel like that's hard to get into, but that is something that I am definitely kind of interested in because I have 2 people that I know. One I think is actually just finishing school right now for it that I used to be in addiction with. And then another girl, she's been a drug counselor for a while. And that I mean, if it's kind of weird to say, but the things that spark my interest the most in my life are things for my addiction. Like anything that has to do with addiction, helping people like that, pushing people forward, that's what interests me the most.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you stay motivated to continue your recovery day by day? Like, do you have setbacks? What do you just tell yourself other than that, what you said earlier that you just hear in your head? Is there anything else that you do that helps with staying motivated?
Just waking up every day, like, being a mom again, getting that chance to be a mom again, the life that I have with me and Ish and Anaya and Socks. Like,
Oh, I love that dog.
thank you. So do I.
I don't like when he humps me.
I know it's bad.
Yeah, but
It's really
it's
bad.
a beautiful,
Thank you.
dog.
Thank you. He's great. But like that's my motivation. That's what makes me want to do it. Like I don't have any thoughts of going back. Like this is my life. This is what I've wanted my whole life. Now I finally got it.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you envision your life in the next 5 to 10 years?
Maybe trying new things as far as not job wise because I really do love my job. Maybe move around a little bit. I don't know. But maybe trying to get our own place, like our own house, like buying our own home, paying off like our cars and stuff. I would say traveling, but Ish doesn't like the airplane, so I don't know if that's gonna be a thing.
I don't like airplanes.
And then he won't go on the boats, so we
He won't
can't
go on
take
the
a
boat.
cruise. I'm like, how about we just stay close to the shores? I don't know if that was a go or
Well,
no.
you gotta fly to like Hawaii
Right,
if you want to be on
right.
the shore.
My
but
thoughts
if he
too.
won't go on a plane and
Right,
he won't go on a boat,
right.
your options are very limited.
Exactly.
You might as well just drive to LA
Yeah, right?
and just go to the beach
Right,
there
right,
or
right.
something, or drive because you can't drive to Hawaii. You can't,
Right.
you
You can
know?
drive to Alaska. That's gonna be cold though.
Can you?
Yeah, I think so. I think or maybe the ferry. No, you can
You won't go on a boat.
no, there you go too. I'm screwed.
I don't like the ocean. Oh, the ocean scares
So
me.
the ocean does scare me.
It
The ocean
scares
actually
me.
does
You know those
scare me.
videos on TikToks?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The Black Sea?
Hey, yeah,
The
or
Black
the North
Sea.
Sea. I think
The
it's called the
North
North.
Sea.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
so I
when
just
I
watched the
watch
whole
those,
thing on that.
oh, I
crabbing.
seriously like stare at them on my phone. I'm like,
No, it's actually okay, so imagine like when you're watching that shit, you're like, "Oh wow, that really looks big and everything," right? But actually being there, can you I couldn't imagine.
well, have you seen
I'd
those
probably
videos of
stroke out.
Have you seen those videos of people like on crabbing boats?
That's what I just
when the
watched 2
waves
seasons
come?
of.
Yeah, I watched a video and I was like, I don't know how these people aren't getting swept
Yeah.
away. Like they got to be wearing like
Yeah.
something on their shoes. Like there should be like magnets or something on their shoes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because those boats
something.
are made of like steel, right?
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
And I hate so I totally valid boats. Valid.
Right.
You won't catch me in a boat in the ocean anywhere.
But
I
then
mean,
the
maybe the
airplane, though.
cruise.
The airplane though?
Okay, the airplane. You have because I've been to Mexico, and
Okay.
my dad is not driving me to Mexico. My dad's like, "No, bitch, you're getting on the plane, and that's it, period." Like, point blank, that is it. So, my first time on a plane, I was, like, 14, and it was my dad took me to Mexico,
Oh.
and there was turbulence. I thought we were gonna die. I was convinced we were gonna die.
Oh,
I was
no.
scared. So, I get it, and then I went on a plane, the last 2 weeks, I've been on a plane,
Oh,
and
see?
with all those no, I was freaking out.
Oh.
People were laughing at me on the plane. This
Oh.
guy, we made eye contact, and he
Oh,
laughed at me because I
no.
was sitting by myself. I was sitting by myself, but I was
Oh.
sitting by myself.
Right.
So it was nice, but I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die alone if this plane crashes," you know? And I'm not gonna have anyone to hold my hand.
Right, right.
And the plane was, like, shaking, and I was like,
Was it a small plane, though?
well, it flew into Arcata. So, yeah, it's
Okay,
like a small
yeah,
plane.
yeah.
So I'm like, sitting there, and I'm like, "Oh my god," and I have an AirPod in, and I'm like, "I'm not gonna be listening to Miss New Booty while I die, okay?"
Right.
This is not on my list of how I wanna go out, man.
Right, right,
And this
right.
guy's staring at me, and we made, like, eye contact, and then it stopped, but we made eye contact when it stopped, and I was like and I just kinda looked
Oh.
away, and I could see him laughing, like, in
Right.
my vision.
Peripheral, yeah,
Yeah, that's what it's
yeah.
called. And so valid that he doesn't wanna
Damn.
go on a plane.
Damn.
So I get it. But
I've been to Hawaii once, it was really fun.
I went to Hawaii one time too, and it was
Yeah.
fun.
And I loved the airplane.
Really?
I did.
I've only had a couple rough flights. I've never had most of the time, they're pretty smooth.
I can't say I've ever had, like, a completely, like, horrible experience on an airplane. That's probably why I love airplanes.
Yeah.
I
Has
think
he had a bad experience on planes?
I'm not so sure. I do know that his brother told me something about there's this I can't even remember the name of the movie, but I guess it's a bad movie for airplanes or something, and that's why he's terrified of airplanes. I don't know if that's true. You never know if it's true, though, or not. He
I feel like
likes to
there's a
joke
lot
a
of
lot.
movies about that. People go missing.
Right?
There's
Yeah.
that show that people were missing for 5 years, but it felt like they just got off the plane.
Yeah.
Oh, what's
Oh,
that one plane that
wait, what
disappeared?
was that?
Malaysia or something?
What was that one show? You just pretty much said what it was, missing for, like, 5 years, and then
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. I've just seen, like, clips of it.
Flight
Oh,
182 or something?
something.
Yeah.
And then there was this one show that I used to watch growing up that had Corbin Bleu from High School Musical. It was like Flight 29 Down. Yeah, that's where it started, man. That and 28 Days Later, you will not catch me in the apocalypse because
Oh.
it's not happening. Not doing it. No ma'am, no ham, no turkey.
Alright.
I'm good. How do you cope with your cravings or urges, if you have any? I have heard from multiple people that does go away over time, but, I mean, everybody's different, so it's how do you deal with those kinds of situations?
You know, it's really weird. I don't have cravings. I don't think I ever had cravings. I might have had, like, times that, like, I get super irritated or something, but my thoughts in my head were not, "I wanna get high," or, "Oh my god, I need to go get something." Like, it was never that. So, yeah, I don't have those type of things. That's not yeah.
So, if you could go back in time and tell your past self something about recovery, what would it be?
It's a lot more it's really worth it. It's worth it because at the end of the day, when you're going to sleep at night and you think, like even the days that I think, like, "I ain't nothing, I ain't shit," you know? Really, like, what did you do? Like, what have you done for yourself? And then you just look at all the things that you've done for yourself, and you're like, "Oh, shit, okay. I'm something to myself." Like, like, it's the best feeling in the world to go from where I was to where I am now. I feel really good about myself.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's fun to push yourself to go even further. So, like, I pushed myself to get off Suboxones, I pushed
Mhm.
myself to quit smoking cigarettes, and now I push myself to quit vaping. So
That's awesome.
and
One thing
it's fun.
that's
It's
great.
just yeah, it's just fun. It's fun. Vaping was a little hard, though, because
I hear people have
I
a
vaped
really hard time
everywhere.
with vaping.
So, I don't know if I put a 10 on a 2 or whatever, but, like, it's literally not as hard as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was going to be horrible, I was gonna be crying, like, on the ground, like, stomping, like, I don't know what I thought, I just thought the worst of everything, but it really wasn't that hard. Like, I do think about it, and I'm like and that I am like, "Oh, I wish I had a hit right now." But, yeah, it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah, I have friends that, quit vaping, so they got the nicotine patches.
Oh.
But I guess you can, like, quote, unquote, "overdose" on nicotine. It just
Real
makes you really sick, I think, is what he
Oh.
said.
Yeah.
Because if you do too many patches, it can make you, like, kinda nauseous. It just makes you feel like shit a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I have friends that have tried to quit vaping, so they resort to the patch,
Oh,
or they
no.
get super aggravated, like, they're, like, very short fused.
Yeah.
They're not as, like, nonchalant anymore. They get, like, really uptight, and they're like, "Oh my god." They get mad about, like, every little thing.
Right?
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's
that's what
not a
I've
good
heard about
feeling.
people that quit vaping. That's why I hear vaping is a lot harder to quit than
Yeah.
cigarettes.
Actually, I heard that from one of the cleaning girls.
You did?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. For me, it was a lot easier than I really thought it was gonna be. I really thought it was gonna be hard, but not so much.
How long have you ha has it been since you've had a cigarette?
Since the 23rd of February.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Would you say that was harder than the vape then?
Oh, wait. No, that was the vape pen. Did you see cigarettes?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's okay.
I think it's been 2 years. So it was September 28th, I think, so, like, 2 years. And
Okay.
so then I started vaping because I was like, "Oh, what a great idea." Oh, maybe yeah, no, yeah, 2 years. I was like, "What a great idea. I'll just vape, and then I'll quit vaping. That'll be simple." Yeah, it wasn't so simple. 2 years later. It was fine when it happened, though, but yeah, that was a stupid idea. We won't be trying that again.
Did you ever see your life being what it is now when you were in active addiction? Like, did you ever think you were ever gonna get clean, or did you just always think, you were gonna just keep using? And did you ever, like, think about what life would have been like if you were clean? Like,
I thought about it all the time, and I dreamed about it all the time, and, that's a hard question to answer because, like, I am not so sure when somebody really gets into their addiction. I'm not saying in the beginning because when in the beginning it's fucking great. Everything's great. But when you start getting into your addiction, like when it's serious, I don't think I don't know. For me, like I never stopped dreaming. So it was always like I wonder what it would be like if this. I wonder if it would be like if that. Um I always hoped for better. I just never knew if I was actually going to get there. There was a lot of times I was like, "I don't know if I'll do it. I don't know if I can do it." Jail, prison, whatever, like, it just seemed like it was never gonna happen, but I always hoped. Never lost the hope.
that's good
Yeah,
that you never lost hope.
right?
Yeah.
So,
How did you go from uppers to downers? Because I feel like everybody that I have met, it's one or the other. It's never
yeah.
both.
So
Not never. I don't wanna say never. It's just not as common. People either really, really like the downers or they really, really like the uppers.
right. Um, you can take this part out, but I'll just say it like this. So in the beginning, I was too scared of needles. Right, and then everyone's
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, don't do this, don't do that." Well, I hate when people tell me what I can and can't do. So don't do this and don't do that. So that's the next thing I'm gonna try. So then I try that, and that's why I started going to the downers because everyone's like, "No, no, don't do that, don't do that." So I started doing that. And then, um, I would do both at the same time sometimes, but the weird thing is so it kind of did the opposite than what normal people so I could smoke a bowl of dope and go straight to sleep, and then I could smoke some heroin and be up all night. So it was
Like
very
opposite effects.
yes, you never catch me nodding. I don't nod. I am not a nodder. Like most heroin addicts, they nod.
Mhm.
That was not me.
Or they have,
Yeah.
like
So, there was one time that I did. That was only because I did some,
okay.
like China White or something,
Uh-huh.
but other than that, I never nodded. It wasn't that type of thing.
What advice would you give to somebody in active addiction right now? Is there anything you wanna say to anybody that may be going through what you're going through that may help them in their journey?
Just don't give up, even if you don't think that you have anybody there on your side, you always have somebody. Even you might not know it, you might not know the person, you know, you might not have met him yet, but there is always somebody on your side. Just don't give up,
It's awesome.
you know?
Have you ever thought about being a sponsor for anybody?
Um, yeah, but probably not anytime soon. That might be later on in life, like, um, maybe possibly when I feel more comfortable with people. I don't really feel comfortable with people, like, I know it sounds really weird, but I am very shy, and I have a lot of anxiety. It takes a lot for me to talk to people, um, like, people that I don't know, like, to go out and like, for instance, this, very hard. Very, very, very hard, I'm so glad we talked about it for 2 weeks in advance because, yeah, it would not be something I would just, "Oh, yeah, sure, let's go." No, it would never happen. Never.
Yeah,
So, huh.
I think I first told you about this,
Oh, is it
like,
more than
almost
2
a
weeks?
month
Yeah.
ago, yeah. But I want
It takes
that
me a
was the
minute.
plan though, because this is it's not easy for everybody to talk about, you know?
Yeah.
And, it's not something that I would just spring on to anyone. I
Yeah.
think this is something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time, like
Yeah.
years. So
That's awesome.
yeah, but yeah,
That's
dude,
awesome.
my job has changed my life. My
Yeah.
perspective has educated me, and I know it can be a really controversial topic,
Yeah.
but it has changed my mindset in a
Yeah.
lot of ways, and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for it. So my the how this started for me was that I was hearing all these stories when I
Yeah.
first started in PSH, and I was like, "Oh my gosh," like you could write a book about your life. This could be
Yeah.
someone's survival guide, you
Yeah.
know? And I remember, I've never been through addiction, but I do think that your voices matter. They matter.
Yeah.
And you're people, and it is possible. Recovery is possible. It's not impossible. It's just some people just aren't ready for it. And I've heard that from a lot of people that some people just aren't ready.
They're not.
And it's really on your own terms almost like
If you're not ready 100% to do it, you're not gonna do it. If you're
exactly.
forced into doing it, you'll do it while you're forced into doing it, but as soon as that force is gone, like, if, for instance, you're in prison or whatever, obviously you can't do it. It's very few far in between, right? But once you get out of there, like, that's your decision. Like, if you're not ready to do it, you're not gonna do it. It does not matter.
Yeah, I had a friend that worked at something like a sober living home, but
Mm.
it was more of a rehab.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that if when they would come, he would be like, "Okay, you're here and you're ready to be clean, right?" And they would be like, "Yeah." He'd be like,
Oh,
"Okay, I
yeah.
want you to delete your dope dealer's number right now." And they'd be like, well,
Right.
or they'd be like, "I want you to break your phone
Right. Right.
and delete all this stuff."
Yep.
And they'd be like, "Okay, well, I don't want to do that." And he'd be like, "Okay, then you're not ready."
Right.
So
Yeah.
he'd be like, "Get out."
That is very true.
And it wasn't anywhere around here. It was, like, in SoCal, and it wasn't like one of those rehab facilities that
Yeah.
it was some kind of program or something that he was doing when he was when he first got sober, but he mentioned something like that. It's that, if you're not, like, 100% ready, like,
Yeah.
then you're
Yeah.
not gonna stick to it.
It always sounds good to say, "Oh, I'm gonna get clean," you know? "I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that." Yeah, well, I was gonna buy a house and a nice car, and with a swimming pool and all this other stuff, but it sounds good, sounds really good, but show me better than you can tell me.
Yeah, it's actions speak louder
Louder
than
than
words.
words.
So if you're
Yeah,
gonna do it.
yeah,
Don't talk about it, be about it.
definitely.
So, yeah, I totally get what you mean by if you're not 100%, then
And that's where a lot of people get really messed up too because they wanna help somebody like their loved ones.
yeah,
I see that all the time, and then they get so mad, "Oh, they hate me, they don't care about me." That's not even the thing. The problem is that you're not thinking of anybody but yourself, and you not going through that pain anymore of seeing your loved ones loaded. Well, it's not about you, it's about them, and if they're not ready, you can't make them, and that's what they don't understand, and then they get mad, "Oh, well, then."
yeah. I have a relative that had meth addiction, and I wasn't really around it. I was really young,
Yeah.
but I remember hearing, like, my family members talk about it and
Yeah.
stuff, and it sounded like it was tough, and, like, my best friend, that I grew up with too, her sister, I didn't grow up around it actively, but I remember bits and pieces of different times in life and or, how it affected her, and they're just your sense of reality when you're in addiction is not what reality is, you know?
No.
It's
Not at all.
yeah. That's what
Not
I
at
try to
all.
explain to people when they say, "I don't know how you didn't get mad at so and so for doing or saying this," and I'm like, their
Right.
reality is completely different from
Right.
mine. I'm not gonna be mad at them or take it personal or
Right.
whatever it may be, you know?
Right.
And everybody's got and it might not even be, like, drug addiction, it could be mental health.
Yeah.
There's so many things that can come into play, and it could be both.
Right.
But also, it could also be, like, drug-induced schizophrenia or
Yes.
drug-induced psychosis
Yeah.
or
Which is
and
scary.
it's scary, yeah, it's possible,
Yeah.
and, I mean, I've seen it, you've seen it, um, it's it's a lot of things, so
Yeah.
you just y you may feel like everyone's out to get you and nagging you, but and
Yes.
that's when they're like, "Oh, you don't care about me," and
Yeah.
or whatever, and
Yeah.
then but I think when people look back from who I've talked to, they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, I look back and I'm like, they were really trying to help me,"
Yeah.
and it's just like I said, your sense of reality is different.
Yeah. Like, when I used to get so mad at my adopted mom, "Why won't you just bring my daughter over to visit?" My oldest daughter, right?
Mhm.
Well, it has nothing to do with you living in a freaking trap house with nothing but drug addicts around. Like, did you ever think about that? No. Yeah. I would get so mad at her. "Why? You're just trying to take her from me. You just don't want me to see her." Well,
So
that's why.
in your eyes, you thought your adopted mom was being selfish,
Yeah.
but in a
In
way
reality, she's just said, "That's
yeah.
dumb." Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you were thinking she was selfish, but it's almost like you were selfish because it's like, "You're
Right.
not letting me see my daughter." It's like,
Yeah.
"Well, you're not taking into consideration
Right.
of your living situation, like, do you want your daughter?"
I thought it was so right,
But it's
though.
also like you missed your daughter and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and that's hard as a family member too, like,
Yeah.
I mean, that must like, the whole we were talking about this earlier, "This hurts me more than it hurts you,"
Yeah.
kinda
Yeah,
thing,
definitely.
and that's probably how your adopted mom felt,
Yeah, well,
was
she
like, "This
adopted my
hurts."
daughter, my oldest
Yeah.
daughter, when I went to prison,
Oh,
and
okay.
she wanted me to sign this paper, and I thought it was just for, like, guardianship while I was
Like
locked up.
temporary guardianship.
Right, and then come to find out, it was for adoption, and I was like, "Well," yeah, that was a hard blow, but really, I mean, I got out and started doing the same thing all over again, so really, in reality, like, she did me a favor, but yeah, she's just caring, that's just her way of caring, and just
Right.
my way of thinking everybody's out to get me. When in
And
reality, they're just
paranoia,
trying to help you, yeah.
also just a side effect of
Yeah.
meth.
Yeah.
It's paranoia.
Yep.
So, there's also that comes into play too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything that you wish more people understood about recovery that you wanna make known?
Just mm, I don't know. I mean,
That's
yeah,
okay.
I wish everybody understood what went into getting clean and sober before you stop and judge, you know? Just stop and think. Instead of stop and judge, stop and think about what that person's gone through in their life and what they had to go through to get to where they're at. And everybody deserves a second chance. As long as they're willing to put in their part, and show you that they can be clean and do what they need to do, everybody deserves a second chance.
I agree. I'm huge on the second
Yeah.
chances. I think everybody deserves a second chance to
Right.
redeem themselves. I mean, life's not short, but also life is long too. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
the same person you were 10 years ago. I mean,
Right.
your frontal lobe doesn't even develop till you're like what, 25?
Right.
So
Right.
it's you're not even the same person you were when you were 20 when you're 25. Like
That's
people
exactly
change and
true.
evolve and sometimes it's for the better and sometimes, people change in a negative way, but either way, I mean, we're human beings and that's part of growing
Yeah.
is you change.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to be mad at someone from 10 years ago and think they're the exact same person that they were. I mean,
Right.
people change all the time, every day.
Yeah.
Almost like a toddler.
Right?
They don't like carrots 2 days ago, but now they love carrots,
Right?
you know? So
Yeah.
I definitely totally get what you mean by everyone deserves a second chance, 'cause I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
well, is there anything else you wanna share or anything you wanna talk about or,
No, just keep doing what you're doing because this is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Makes people feel wanted
Yeah.
and important and heard. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think it's important to feel heard and to feel seen because
Yeah.
you're a human being.
Yeah.
And I say that all the time. I say that about myself, about other things. I'll be like, I'm a human fucking being and I have feelings.
It's true though.
And
It's true though.
yeah.
It's true though.
And it's funny because I actually wanted to name the podcast "I'm a Human Fucking Being."
Yeah.
But I don't know why I didn't. I just was like, that's a little aggressive. So I was like, maybe not that. But it is something that I say on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Even like when my mom's just giving me a hard time, I'll be like, Mom, I'm a human being.
Right?
I make mistakes or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's true. Everyone's human. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not using it like an excuse or you know what I mean? It's
Right.
just something that I say. It's like, I make mistakes.
Yeah.
And it may not be like real big mistakes,
Right.
but I make mistakes all the time. I forget
Right.
things and stuff. So,
Right.
yeah. So this is something that I've been enjoying doing. And I'm really happy that you were a
Awesome.
part of this.
Thank you for having
I know
me.
this is like a big
This is
step
huge.
for you.
This is huge.
And I'm really proud of you. And congratulations, dude. 6 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
I'm stoked.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us on
Thank
Recovery Real Talk.
you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.